So we're going to go back. We have our Gatsby image, but since I first want to test out how we can iterate over our data, why don't we simply set up some kind of array, list, or whatever, where we just iterate over and display the name. And once we understand the name, then of course it's going to be much more easier to add that Gatsby image. Now I might need to add a little bit of CSS, so I'm gonna go with styled components in this case. And of course, I'm looking for my styled components. I'll quickly set up my wrapper, and we're gonna go here with a const wrapper. Again, this is optional, you don't have to do it. Styled, and I'm gonna say section, and eventually I might add some styles for the CSS flexbox. And here I'll just wrap everything with my wrapper. And then as far as, well, how we can access those values, well, remember that of course data is a massive object. So in my case, I'm gonna set up nodes. So this is going to be in the data, and then we just need to scroll up and see. Okay, in the data, there's going to be all file, and then I have my nodes. So that's going to be that array that I'm looking for. So I simply go with data, all file, and then nodes. And now, of course, I assign this to a nodes variable. And then inside of the wrapper, let's just set up the curlies, and we'll iterate over the nodes. And for time being, let's just set up map, and I'll call this image like so. So that represents that individual object. And I'm just going to go with the return, and let's set up the article. Now I'll use the key here, meaning I'll use the index for my key, because I don't think that I query for any meaningful ID. So I'm going to go with key index, because again, we're returning a list. So this is a must. And then as far as the data, for time being, let's just go with the paragraph, and we'll say single and image. Now, the reason why I'm doing all of this, because I want to showcase what we're going to have inside of this image. So I can see the list. That's an awesome start. And now let's go to the bigger browser window and see what actually we have inside of that image. An image is an object, and it has a name property and child image sharp. And again, we shouldn't be surprised. We're iterating nodes. We're getting back for every item that node. And in that node, these are the fields. We have name field, which just returns a value. And then, like I said, there's going to be more complicated fields that have the subfields themselves. And of course, that is the child image sharp. So for time being, I simply want to access this name. And here I'm going to switch things around, and I'm just going to do a bit of destructuring, where I'm going to say that I'm looking for the name